All right, guys, we are live here. I am with one of the better traders out here. We're going to be discussing ICP, Bob and Burn. We're going to be discussing the ICP community and a bunch of tokens in it. No one has done anything like this. We're live on Twitter and YouTube, so make sure to share and like this so other ICP people can see it. This is the first time I brought in an expert trader to look. This is Trader A. He's expert. I did another AMA with him, like 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, Standard and Rich, the first episode of a podcast startup, if you want to call it
that. And his link is in the description below. You can go to his Discord. He has a paid Discord where he's basically showing people how to trade. He's one of the best traders out here. He's in my Discord. We talk, and wow, I mean, your gains are real. People are seeing they're real. Like, what do you give people? Like, what are your gains in an average month? What are you seeing even right now?
So year to date on basically a spot active book that I've been running, I'm up like 52% year to date. So S&P's up 22. So we're about 52. doubling the index. Yeah, on a spot active book that I run.
And that's you do stock market and you do crypto. You do both.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So this guy's the real deal. He's got the real numbers. He knows he's going to be looking at ICP. I see a lot of hype about ICP. I see a lot of misinformation about ICP and the tokens like Bob and Barn. And what we want to do is bring some reality. We want to bring some TA to ICP.
Yeah.
Really,
some vision on the chart for sure. Yeah, no doubt.
So should we bring up the chart and you can kind of read us through the tea leaves, as they say?
Yeah. So when you look at ICP, obviously I have these levels marked, but I want to start over. When you look at ICP, obviously every trader has a system that they use. I like to use sort of like a derivative of the alligator system, which is one large moving average and then two smaller moving averages. So when I'm looking at ICP, I like to take a top-down approach when I look at all the crypto, okay? So I think it's important to first look at like the total crypto market cap, but also the total 3, which is interesting because it's BTC minus ETH. So it's basically the altcoins. So you have the two caps, you have Bitcoin and you have Ethereum. So if I'm looking at Bitcoin as kind of like the captain of the ship, as kind of like the leader, much like the S&P is the leader of the stock market, I'm sort of looking at the year-to-date period because a lot of crypto is short time frame, as many of us know. So year-to-date, I'm sort of looking at how Bitcoin's performed, okay? So we had this large rally in Q1. What was this, 84%? You've given back a little bit of it. So you're just consolidating 51% gains. So it's like if you're in the crypto space, your benchmark for this year, you could say, is Bitcoin because it's the biggest asset. And your sort of standard market returns would be 50% year to date or higher, much like I compare my book to like the S&P. So obviously, if you're going down the cap spectrum for like altcoins, if you're looking at something like an AVAX or a Phantom or an ICP, which we'll talk about, you're going to want to try and outperform Bitcoin. But it's been kind of tough to do that because if we go down the spectrum and we compare, Ether's given back a massive amount of those gains. AVAX has given it back. Phantom's given it back because this is the Q1 high, late March. Right. So, so if you're looking at ICP, I think as well, coins are kind of approaching the end of the give back period because you have some interest, right? We're off the low. You have some semblance of buying. Most people, most of the money is saying, just give me Bitcoin. I don't want to worry about it. But I feel like as Bitcoin starts to rally again, if we really look at it deeper, you'll get the catch-up trade in other tokens. So if we assume Bitcoin's bullish, if I'm looking at ICP, right now it's at a super critical level.
But let me ask you this question. When are we going to see the Bitcoin explode where the money is going to go, okay, Bitcoin hit 100,000. Let's look at the alt like ICP and other stuff.
Well, I think it would happen before 100K, but yeah, no, as soon as people would see, because how it works generally, let's say you're a crypto investor.
Okay.
And most people are like, okay, why would I go to a crypto fund when I could just buy and hold Bitcoin? Well, the idea is that they would do better than Bitcoin. So if they see Bitcoin's running and they're behind, which a lot of active managers are usually behind, they have to grab something to like catch up. So I think as soon as you start seeing Bitcoin, if we just pull up the chart, and this is the US dollar pair on Coinbase, so there's going to be deviations in price, different pairs, different indexes, whatever, different chains. But if you see Bitcoin start to really challenge these highs, because it's like, how many times do you think that we're just going to like run up against clean highs and roll over? Eventually you'll run out of distributors, in this area. So I think if managers really feel like the smart ones really feel like we're threatening this area, they'll start diving for alts. And then if we sort of rally from wherever, consolidate, check back, and then break out, this is when you'll probably see all the late guys running. They'll grab the AVAXs, they'll grab the Phantoms, they'll grab whatever the hell, the V-Chains, the Sheebs, whichever coin that you're into. So that's like a bullish scenario for Bitcoin. So like when it would happen, I think you got a few sort of tailwinds for Bitcoin. A lot of people like to compare it to gold. So if you look at gold's flying. Bitcoin's kind of lagging gold. If you look at the short-term trend, I think that this bounce is good on this moving average. And so, you're probably going to reach this to the high, whatever. Bitcoin hasn't really tracked gold as much because I feel like it's more inverse dollar. So I think the longer you have a dollar in this general region, because this was the bear market of 22, you have the hiking, so you have the increase in the value of a dollar. So all the tech, all the speculation went down a lot. So as long as you have a dollar sort of in this region above 101, let's call it, like in a more bullish position than not, I think Bitcoin is going to struggle.
So we're waiting for what, the Fed maybe?
You're essentially, you want the tailwind of a weaker dollar. So
we want the Fed to loosen the reins here, and that's
essentially, you want the Fed to cut in a manner that is sort of steady. And I don't know how rapid cuts would fare, because if you're talking about rapid cuts, the market could get spooked, because here's another element I think is going to feed into crypto is the NASDAQ, right? So a lot of people are very aware of the correlation between Bitcoin and the NASDAQ. These correlations have sort of diverged and broken up, and sometimes it's tagged with gold these last 2 years, other times it's tagged back with the NASDAQ at the US 100. But if you're bullish Qs, right, if you think the NVIDIAs, the techs, the AIs, all these things are going to go off, then it's kind of difficult to also be bearish Bitcoin, because the idea of crypto kind of gets like dragged up with tech as well. So I think if you're optimistic on Qs, and it's the reason people are buying the NASDAQ. So if people are buying the NASDAQ because they want Apple and Microsoft for defense and stalwart cash flows, then you won't see that rotation back down into meme coins, because they're owning big tech for the quality aspect. But if you see the other 93 in the NASDAQ 100 like move, then it's like, okay, this is more of like a broad rally. People are going to want to go down the cap spectrum when it comes to technology, because crypto is kind of like a hybrid between commodity and technology.
Got it. So going back to ICP.
Yes, going back.
What is the prediction? Somebody even asked here. They want a price prediction for end of 2024. I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah.
Let's talk ICP end of 2024, and let's talk ICP going into what could be a super cycle or a bull cycle of 2025.
Yeah. So assuming all the bullish stories about ICP, you're bullish on the new layer 1, AI blockchain, whatever. You have to contend with a bit of overhead multiple times. So I know the listing price is different, because if you just go back in time from the Coinbase listing, it was listed quite high.
Yes.
And then it's rolled over, as a lot of crypto has. So I'm looking at local levels right now, and I think it's bullish, right? I think it's responding to this pink level right here. So immediately I'm looking at the bottom of this range.
What is that pink line? What is that?
So this is just a really large moving average that I use. It's just fat, and I just and I keep it pretty under wraps. But when I'm looking at stuff here and I'm bullish, right? Immediately I'm looking at the top of this big range, because what do you usually have in these big ranges that have rolled over is you have bag holders, right? You have people that get up every morning and check the price, and they want to be able to sell or whatever. Maybe they've DCA'd and it hasn't gone up, or they're down on the DCA, So when you get back to this level, you have what's called overhead. So you have a ton of sellers coming in. You know, some people can be bullish and holding whatever, or maybe it's locked up, or whichever argument you want to make. But typically in markets, when you're pushing up, you have to deal with the overhead. So how I'm checking my upside targets is with overhead. So I guess if you think Q4 is bullish, you know, you think the dollar is going to weaken, Fed's going to keep cutting, whatever, then you could easily see ICP test 1127 like before the end of the year, you know?
11.27
Yeah,
up to
the bottom of
14,
this range.
$15.
Yeah. So then the next step that you would go is the top of this range
Okay.
at 14. So if it just flies through this range, it starts to get easier because there's less like sort of local orders here, you know? So there are all these imbalances in the market that like, you know, AMMs will fill or whatever. So you have the top of this range, then 16, then you have the top of this range, then you have this high, which it'll probably sweep. And so if it kind of like procedurally goes through all these, it depends on how much leverage you're using, where your time frame is how relevant these targets are. But I still think these are relatively big moves, you know, $2 each. And then you have this range right here, which is actually where it stopped. This is why this method is useful, because if you're watching ICP and you're like, where the hell is it going to stop? At the exact wick where it stopped here, it was the bottom of this range right here. It was these back holders, you know, the guys that were like buying the bottom of this,
In
whatever.
the 20s.
In the 20s from last year or 2 years ago or whatever.
2 years,
so,
you know, about a year and a half
so
ago.
this range, this high has to be contended with. So if you beat this, it's kind of like step by step. So if you're a longer term investor and you're very bullish, you would not worry about any of these lower levels. You're talking about new highs, right? So I would say these are the most relevant local resistance levels, 11 and 15. Then you want to talk about new highs, okay, if you're bullish, right? Because it's not just going to consolidate forever. So 20, this range, 22, and then you're looking at the bottom of this right here, because it's this bottom and it's this range as well. So 28, and it gets easier and easier and easier because when this was happening, people are just panic dumping. People are just slamming the bid. They're just like, get me out. I don't want to fucking deal with it. So there's a lot of holes in the order book, if that makes sense. There's a lot of spaces where they're selling, but there's actually nobody there to like sell again, you know? So it'll just kind of gap through to the next seller, right? Because for every buyer, there has to be a seller.
Okay. So basically, if we can break, let's say, looks to me about probably $30 range-ish. This
28.50, let's call it.
50?
28.50, let's call it.
28.50.
This is like a super bullish target if you smash these two levels.
So if ICP can break sometime in 2024, maybe 2025, that 28.50 level, it is going to absolutely
probably, yeah. I think it's going to accelerate. I think
it's going to go.
It's like Fib. You know how Fibonacci works. Essentially, you have, and I'm not just doing a simple Fib retracement, but the rhythm of the Fib is that it's sort of dense in the beginning as you contend with all like the local orders, and then it starts expanding. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Okay.
That's the logic. Basically, it's as you start eating into these imbalances and you go more and more into these resistances, it's going to start.
I can see. So it can just keep going to different levels, and then it goes 37, and then 48. Also, okay.
Yeah, it depends on flows as well. So if people are like, I need to get short, or you know, too many people are offsides, or sentiment's really negative, like it's a hated rally, then you can see it go a lot more. You can see it go a lot higher.
Wow.
So
guys out there holding on to ICP.
Could have a lot of upside, you know. And then if you look at the downside, it's really not horrible.
The downside is, I think, it looks like
it's really not horrible. $6,
$6.50, $6.70.
Yeah, if you're talking about chewing into these ranges right here, you got $6 and $4.70, and then it'll probably wash out to like this bottom or close to it if it breaks $4.70.
I don't think it breaks 6.
I don't think that's likely. So realistically, even if you're looking at this worst case scenario, you got 56% downside, but you easily have 400% upside.
Upside's 400. Downside is
downside.
30%.
I mean, risk reward checks out. You know, I would have nibbled at some at 770 if I was paying attention. But I wasn't. I actually bought some down here.
I was buying in the 7 anyway.
Range. Yeah. So I think as this just rolls on, I think if you get like responsiveness from Bitcoin, responsiveness from Ether, you start to see risk appetite flow back into the market, this thing should move, man. Especially if in crypto, I think the most bullish thing is like layer ones. It's like new applications for like on-chain activity, moving assets on-chain. So if you believe ICP is like, the Gen 3 blockchain, it's going to be super fast. It's AI. You believe in the team, believe in the technology, then it makes perfect sense that you would want to bid it here. I mean, just if that's what you're about, it's low enough. People are probably not happy. It's better than buying it at 13. I'll tell you what,
I did buy a little bit at 30.
That's fine. I mean, you DCA
to like 13, 14. I bought everywhere.
I'm just saying, if you liked ICP now, this is kind of like the thing too about investing is like nothing about companies or projects is going to fundamentally change in a month or 2 or 3 months, unless something critical is happening that's negative, right? Usually a lot of the changes that are taking place are positive. So if you just take a project for what it is, if it gets 50% cheaper and nothing about it's really changed or broken, it's just kind of the market and the general air of things, then it's more attractive.
So guys, we got about 40 people watching this live between Twitter and YouTube. So if you want to ask questions, you got to come to Crypto Circus YouTube channel and ask us the questions here. And Trader, he will answer them for you.
For sure.
And so if you're over at Twitter, come over, make your way over at YouTube, and we'll answer those questions that you guys have. Make sure to share and like this so more people in the ICP community can understand this. I see a lot of people talking ICPs going at 100 and 1,000 and 2,000 and crazy.
Yeah, it's got to get through some overhead first. Yeah,
it doesn't happen overnight, guys.
Yeah, like
it's a multi-year thing to get to those levels.
Area even looks like it's actually not. I mean, it's not absurd. Like this high right here is 86 already. So
I mean, I think these people that bought in the 80s and 70s and 60s are already
bag holding.
No, but they're not holding anymore.
Oh, they're just sold. You have to be.
Those guys have sold for a loss, or they've averaged down and they've left. So I'm not even. I think this only has
down and out.
I don't think this has that much downside. The only downside ICP has
from here, I don't think so, because I think people who wanted to sell this rally kind of, a lot of them got out already, as you can see, right? Because this rally is already unwound.
Yeah.
How much of it,
so
right?
We got a question here from Verac. Verac says, Verac says, how is it holding right now compared to the market?
So look, right now, everything's down and ICP's up. I don't know if that's because we're talking about it and we got some big boys in the chat, but so, I mean, there's your answer right now. You got Total 3, which is the altcoin index, is taking a dump. Total is taking a dump. Phantom's taking a dump. AVAX, you can see, but ICP's up. ICP's up 2.25.
So I do look at it. I had a video about it when I was comparing it to XRP and Cardano. So this is what I saw with ICP. ICP has outperformed XRP, has outperformed Cardano.
XRP is not it.
If you're an XRP,
I can show you just why.
I'm sorry for you. Yeah.
Because look at this, right? I mean, this is like Ford stock. This is like
XRP just dumps the foundation
without the dividend. No dividend even.
XRP is not it. It's the foundation dumps on you all the time.
Oh my goodness. Like what is this? Like this thing is just the definition of dead money. So, good Lord.
No, this is not true. Sounds like the hype of Bob has died out and now getting super negative attention. No, that's not true, Brandon.
Oh, Bob? Yeah,
no.
I don't know about Bob.
I'm going to talk about Bob. That's not true. Bob is actually doing a lot of burning activity. So I've talked about the burns. I'll bring up Bob. You want me to share my screen on Bob?
Yeah. I don't know.
You don't know much about Bob? I'll bring up Bob.
Oh, yeah. I'll flip over to you right here.
Yeah. Here, let me take this out, and then we'll present Bob. We'll talk about Burn too, because Burn is doing some really cool stuff, by the way. Burn is doing like super cool. And I'm going to talk about this also. This is a really important thing for you guys to look at, because Bob and Burn are both meme coins. So you guys also need to go to my Twitter and check this out, because this is actually a really important post, because there is a there is a potential of a meme super cycle. You guys, if you're not in meme tokens, you might be missing out. There's a whole entire meme super cycle coming that is going to blow your minds. Just like the
keeping your
altcoin.
eyes on DeFi and meme coins and stuff like that is a smart thing to do. Don't forget about it. Keep your eye on the ball.
This was my I reposted this on my DAO Kingdom on my Twitter too. Follow me down here. I got the links down there for you guys so you can go see. But this is very important. And Bob and Burn both fit into this. So I'm going to show you guys something.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, so let's take a look. I can give you my live reaction as well.
Hold on, I had Bleep up here. Bleep was another token we got into. We've already done like a 3x. Like I said, the meme coins are going to go on AVAX. Yes.
Yeah.
So we're rocking it in my group on Discord. The links are down there. We are rocking it. Let's go to. Do I even have Bob up here? No, I got Burn. We'll do Burn first, and then we'll go to Bob. So
yeah,
this is Burn.
470K market cap. This is the main pair on ICP swap.
This is the main one on ICP swap. 88,000 liquidity. They added liquidity here. They didn't add any here. They pumped it up, but they bought in and then added liquidity here. And
traders like it when they add liquidity. So pro tip.
Yes. So I personally think that Burn is doing a great job. If you look at the Burn chart, it is only going to go higher. To me, what do you think? When you look at this chart, what do you think?
This is Burn against ICP.
No. This is just Burn by itself.
No, it says Burn / ICP, right?
Oh, no, it's Burn. It's paired with ICP. So one side.
So this is the price of Burn against ICP. You want price of Burn? It's like Bitcoin against Ether or whatever. You want Burn against.
Well,
USD,
it's the price in USDC and in ICP. It's both.
Is it? Yeah. I think that just says Burn, because if you look at it, kind of makes sense because Burn's gone sideways. And I don't know what time frame this is. This is 15-minute, so maybe it's local. Go to the daily. Let's see the daily.
Okay.
Because how do you buy Burn? You buy with ICP?
You buy it with ICP.
Okay, so this is it. It's the price of Burn against the price of ICP.
This is the 4 hour.
So if ICP rallies, that is going to weaken the value of Burn because it's the pair.
Right, but I think Burn is set up to do.
So if we're talking about Burn in USD, the chart could look better, is what I'm saying.
Yes, this is the 5-cent chart. This is correct. Here, let's do a Bob. Let's go to Bob. Let's look at Bob. So Bob and what the hell is all this crap? Bob and Burn. Bob and Burn are kind of similar because what they do is kind of like Bitcoin, where they emit tokens because you're mining them. So people have to sell them into the market. However, the biggest difference is with Burn, the inflation is gone. So what you're seeing, you can see with Bob, you had this huge run up when there was less tokens, and then you're starting to see it kind of die down, like what he's saying. The liquidity increased a little bit, and the market cap has kind of stayed very stable. So I don't think Bob is going to necessarily dump too much more, but go ahead.
If ICP rallies like crazy and Bob's price like doesn't move, then the value of Bob will go down like against ICP. But what matters is that ICP itself is gaining in value versus the dollar because all these pairs are measured in ICP. So if your ICP is worth more, you just have more purchasing power of Bob.
Oh, that's a good point too.
Yeah.
That's a really good point.
So you can accumulate more tokens if ICP is worth more. So I think if the main pair is like you need ICP, just focus on the value of ICP and the rest of the protocol should, like fall in line as far as like your portfolio.
Okay. Yeah. I don't think the narrative for Bob is anywhere close to being dead. I think that Burn.
No, not at all. I mean, this is the first time I'm hearing about it, and I've liked ICP. So if there are people that have liquidity that trade often or whatever, look at it, they like it, it sounds good, then they'll throw a bag in. But it just depends about general risk sentiment, and then how is the price of ICP, how's the price of Bitcoin, where's the dollar at? Like there's all that shit that I open with because that's what like big money thinks about. That's what experienced money thinks about. I don't use smart money because intelligence doesn't mean a lot in markets.
So you've been in my Discord. You know that we've hit a couple of like 10xers, 8xers, 7xers, 3xers, and they've been on different chains. They've been on ICP. They've been on AVAX.
Oh
And
yeah,
this is the meme stuff, guys. So what I want you to
yeah. You
do,
guys are going in over there.
my whole Discord, I'm going to tell you guys right now, it's going to become meme central within the next 30 to 60 days because this is where the money's at. You always want to follow the money. You don't want to come in. You don't want to go buy layer ones and layer twos and layer threes and God knows what else and altcoins that aren't.
Yeah, you're looking for relative performance if you're trying to get in there and make money and trade. You know,
right?
So you don't just buy shit that's down. It's going to keep going down. You need to see like where there's flows, where there's volume.
You said it. You know what's up, and this guy knows how to make money trading. So so what we've been doing is this over in my group. We're concentrating on a select few, and we hit Booty. Remember Booty? We did like an 8 or 9x.
I saw that in there.
Trading on Booty. So Booty's on AVAX. So we want to talk about these because it's a $2 million market cap. When I put it in my group, I think it was at 250,000. So we want to talk about these things because we want to learn to see what Booty did. You know, you look at the holders. When we got into Booty, it only had like 200 holders. It's now 1,200 holders. And it's continuing. It's now kind of going sideways. But how does this chart look to you? Do you think it just comes out?
I think it looks strong.
I
think it looks strong. As far as a meme coin, yeah, it's marketing. At the highest level, you ask a professional why they own Bitcoin, like a real active money manager, they're going to tell you it's BlackRock's marketing or whoever's marketing. You know?
It's just marketing, right?
It's just marketing. I mean, there's no, like the difference is why I actually like an Ether, an ICP, whatever, is because assets on chain, right? There's money, there's volumes, there's fees, there's some semblance of revenue somewhere. If you're buying a meme coin, you know, it's the art of getting in and the art of getting out. That's it.
Correct. Now, what I did here was I did exit some. So I'm not going to lose money on Bob. I have a profit in here no matter what. I'm profitable.
Yeah,
so
you took your principal out plus some and you're just letting the rest ride.
I took out my principal and like another $800 or $1,000. I don't remember, something like that. And I'm done. Now I'm going to hold it. If Bob goes from 2 million to 20 million, I'll make tens of thousands of dollars on a very really small investment. That's kind of how you got to play it. Now,
I mean, you're playing with such, I mean, that kind of looks good because you have 157K liquidity in Booty, 2 million market cap, but you're playing in such small pools that all it takes is one little splash and then bam, that thing's 5, 10x or whatever. And you can only ever lose what you put in. There's an upside skew. That's why I think meme coins are kind of popular, you know?
It is, and we're only concentrating on ones that we really believe in and we really like. And this is another
the ones
one
that look good.
The ones that look good and have a good team. Now, the reason we like Booty was because it's the same team that did Cock Inu, and Cock Inu went to $1 billion. So it's the same team. So you guys can't just get into random meme coins. And the reason we like Bleep, I got into Bleep at under $100,000 market cap. Look at this, guys. This is already 6x from my first purchase. Okay, it's all went over 300,000. So think about it. We get in early. So why did we get into Bleep? So this is what you guys got to change your mind about. We got into Bleep because Bleep was the first token on Bellum Exchange, which is like pump fund of AVAX. Okay. So we believe, this is a theory, that eventually they're going to make this into either a utility token or it's the fact it's the first token on Bellum, and Booty is already, if Booty reaches 20 million, this will probably go to like 5 million. Well, 5 million from here is like enormous. It's like,
That's big.
It's big. It's like
20x, 25x. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so these are the theories you got to start making and thinking about, whether it's Bob or Burn, ICP or AVAX or Solana meme coins, whatever meme coin you're looking at, you got to have a theory and understand.
Yeah, like you want edge over other participants. That's kind of the whole point. So if you know, okay, like this is stuff that's under the hood, like is attractive to people with money, like because how are you going to make money is someone else with money has to come and like bid the thing higher. So you have to be like, what factors are going to attract that type of investor in? And so which projects can I get in, identify them quickly, that have those key elements, like a good team, solid track record, whatever, like solid liquidity to market cap ratio, you know, all that little stuff, and then just ride it out, you know, and then get out when you're up however much. Just have like sell discipline.
Tell me about what you think of this chart on Bleep. What do you think here?
So this chart's super interesting. This chart tells a story. So this is from the beginning, right? Or no, this is a 1 minute chart, right?
No, this is a 1 minute chart from the beginning.
1 minute chart from the beginning. Okay, cool. So the story is basically they came out with it. Everybody hopped in it. It exploded higher. Then whoever was in it sold it off, and they sold it off, and then they ignored it. Okay, and they let it go, and they sort of made sure nobody was looking at it. They waited until it was dead. Okay, then once it was dead, they immediately threw all their shit in again, and they tried the same thing again. But I think this time they either they're having more capital, or they're a bit smarter about it. So they threw big in here. You can see the volume spike, but then the sellers came back and they sold it all down. But the buyers had more money, or they were prepared because they learned from last time. So they came in, they defended the bottom of where they entered, bounced it again. Sellers came again, they came in again, bounced it again. Sellers are here. They let it get back down to that level where it was dead, and then they blasted it again. And so now there's not enough sellers, so you can you get this natural
sellers are gone.
So right now it's at the highs. These sellers have likely been shaken out. The guys in the that probably were the first spike, the second spike, they probably just bought them all out. So I mean, this thing is probably going to break out if these guys have more money, or if other people come in. I mean, marketing, whatever.
It's got to be something, right? It's going to be some sort of marketing.
But that's the story of the chart. So that's a bullish story.
I like the chart here.
They're throwing money at it. Yeah, they're throwing money at it. So
yeah, there's something going on behind the scenes. I know there's a lot of like AVAX people getting behind Bleep because they believe in Bellum. Because if Bellum becomes the next pump fund, this thing's gonna go. And there's no liquidity. There's no liquidity on this, guys. It's 57,000.
57. Yeah. Also think about it. If they're like, all right, now we want to go really big. If they want to put 500K in this thing, they're going to need to wait until it's kind of dead or sold off. And then these people don't seem to have a lot of patience. So they just blast it like when they want to get in.
So burn is capped at 10 million coins max. I think that's true. It's like 10 million something. And I think they've released most of them. And because they've released most of them, that is why you're seeing if you look at the burn, if you're looking at burn, you're kind of seeing it's becoming a lot more stable. And they were very strategic. The burn guys were very strategic. They added liquidity. They added more ICP as the later on, not earlier. Because
that's like genuinely bullish. I've found in a lot of these protocols is outside money or whatever. They like it when they know the impact isn't going to be trash. Because if you're a whale and you have, I don't know, 750K, are you really gonna like?
Look at this! Someone added 900 ICP 9 hours ago.
Yeah, so right now they have 90K liquidity to 500K market cap. So I would say that's like pretty healthy. Normally it's way less than that. That's like a fifth.
What is going on? Somebody 20%. Just added liquidity like crazy. No, that
was like 9 hours ago.
9 hours ago? That is nuts.
So when was that? In the middle of the New York session.
Hold on. This is getting really interesting on burn.
That's what I like about Dex Screen is you could track these people down. You could look at their wallets. And you could see like
this guy. Oh, sorry. 900. Yeah. He added
900 ICP. Well, 900 ICP is what? That's like 700 times 9.
Well, 8 times 9.
So it's like it's like a 10%.
$200 worth of.
It's like a 10% ad, almost a little less, 8% ad.
And then look 3 days ago.
Healthy. That's pretty big.
Very, very healthy. 3 days ago is when they really added a lot. They added 1,500 and 2,900.
No. To me, that's good.
They added almost $60,000 worth of liquidity.
Instead of like jumping in the pool, they're just like pouring water in it, which is like what you want.
They're not buying the token. What they're doing is
they're pouring water in the pool. They're not getting in the pool. They're just pouring water in it.
And then we can go, like you said, with Dex Screener, we can actually go and we can look. I haven't looked to see who these people are, but they are obviously There, yeah. This guy's added twice.
Somebody that, or a machine, an AMM or whatever, they just tell it, add whenever, whoever's doing it, probably a machine. If these people have a lot of money, they just buy one.
Yeah, there is something going on behind the scenes.
Yeah, because
on
wasn't
Burn.
ICP like a multi-billion-dollar? So are the Burn people and the Bob people, are these like meme people on ICP, or is this ICP themselves?
These are no. These are separate. These are separate
Oh,
entities.
okay,
We don't know
yeah,
who they are.
yeah. But no, yeah. Regardless, the chart looks fine.
This
Burn
chart looks good, dude. I've been buying Burn. I think Burn's going to go into a couple $1 million market cap because I've noticed that they've got a lot of development going on.
I think what would make it stupid bullish is if you just saw liquidity jump to like 120K and the market cap like only moved a little bit. That'd be super bullish. That'd be super bullish because that means that you can see like tens of thousands flow in comfortably, and that would move the price.
Do we want to look at Bob to see if any liquidity was added in Bob, guys?
Yeah. We could do some detective work on Bob.
Bob and Burn. Who knew these would drive ICP?
Are these driving volumes on ICP?
They're driving the computing power on ICP, which is burning millions of dollars worth of ICP, which is insane.
Oh, that's the Burn. Yeah. Oh, Bob and Burn makes sense.
That's what's
yeah.
That's what's happening. Let's see.
So they're not affiliated with ICP. That's interesting. They're just trying to pump the price of ICP however the hell.
So there is people adding liquidity all the time to Bob. It's just not a lot of liquidity. It's
100. It's 100. Wait, go up. Did someone just scroll up like to the top?
All the way to the top.
Yeah, 1 hour ago, someone just added, but it's like nothing.
Somebody added about 100 ICP.
Yeah. So look, 100K to 500 market cap. That's like reasonably healthy, I would say.
People are adding liquidity. They're adding liquidity all the time to Bob, it looks like.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm a trader, right, and you're like, let's say you're a whale, like 750K or whatever, are you really going to waste your time, throwing in 20K or whatever? Like, you're probably going to.
But people are also removing. People are also removing liquidity from Bob. So there's a lot of like adding and removing.
It's just about net inflow. Because I'm not looking at, there's a tick. There's another tick. I'm just looking at the ratio, like whenever. Because if I want to throw a lot of money in this, I'm not gonna if I'm gonna get impacted to hell, But there's the risk that because there is this dilution, a lot of people get into the projects way too heavy. They pay the impact, they're not paying attention. So if suddenly these people pay attention, or there is someone that's paying attention, and there's a lot of liquidity being added, they can get out at a more reasonable price. And then how liquidity pair works in crypto, I mean, usually, like if you do it for DEX, it's like LP token, right? So it's like one token in an LP, like wallet or a smart contract or whatever. So it's like your LPs are losing value basically if people are just dumping like out of the fucking pool. So it's like it's kind of like at the risk.
Let's talk about the market. Like, what are you seeing overall? Let's see.
Oh yeah,
what
just
is
like
your take right now. Is there something you want to share? Regarding
I think this could be pretty interesting for crypto guys. Is if we look at bond yields right now, which might just be boring and irrelevant to like a lot of people. But if we look at, let's say, I was really tracking this right here.
So we got 50 people watching between YouTube and Twitter. Like I said, if you guys want to come over to YouTube, if you're on Twitter, you can ask questions directly to Trader A here. So YouTube is where you want to come over and ask your questions, and make sure to share this so everybody on ICP, Bob and Burn community, the Bleep and the Booty community can see our TA on them.
All right, cool. So why did we just go from talking about Bob and Burn to talking about government bond 10-year yields? That was it's probably like the biggest jump ever that anyone's ever done. But essentially it matters. Mostly the 2-year matters actually, because the Fed is making money cheaper. Okay. So the Fed is loosening monetary policy. This affects the dollar and all the shit. So the easiest parallel for people to just get it immediately is in 2021, when all the crypto was flying, okay, the government bond yield was down here.
That's right.
So it's like nothing. So and then when it rocketed all the way, crypto exploded. So strong inverse correlation between bond yields and coins, basically, especially when the Fed is actively adjusting monetary policy. All markets, especially the crypto markets, because they're led by Bitcoin and Ether, like I said earlier, are going to be more rate sensitive, like as the uncertainty increases. So if I'm looking at the 10-year, which is kind of like the benchmark interest rate, so like a lot of REITs trade against this, or like any other like rate sensitive stuff, small caps, whatever. I'm thinking, all right, we're in a situation where the market is used to, and this is sort of like a top-down overview, and I'm going to weave it back into crypto. The market is used to kind of like the Fed cutting aggressively, fast, overshooting. So bond yields started knifing, right? So the top of the Fed funds hiking cycle, 10-year was 5%. Okay. So as inflation has come down, right? This is why everyone's like CPI, PCE, whatever. It's because it's all about these friggin' yields. Like where are they going to go? So because if the Fed wants to hike and they want to stay tight, yields are going to be higher. If the Fed wants to cut and they want to be loose, yields are going to be lower. So if you're looking at the yield, okay, you're watching the Fed. As the Fed is lowering the interest rate policy, people are guessing where the terminal rate is going to be, the final Fed funds target. So if people go, the Fed funds is going to 3.5, if Fed funds is going to 4, if Fed funds is going to 3, that's going to affect yields, blah, blah, blah. It's going to affect how loose money is, whatever. So right now we're in a situation where everyone thinks the Fed is going to cut a lot. They're going to cut aggressively. So the Fed has said, we think the risks to the labor market are more important than the risk to inflation. So we're going to begin the easing cycle. We're going to ease, but we don't want to aggressively ease. We don't want to cut as much as the market is saying. So there's this narrative, if the Fed pauses, it gets very complex very fast, but there's this narrative, if the Fed pauses, this could be more hawkish. You see this bounce in yields, blah, blah, blah. I think it's sort of overly noisy to read into that. I think what people should understand is that the bond market is more dovish than the Fed is. I think this is like the fundamental thing. I think if the economy holds up, meaning like people aren't losing their jobs, earnings are okay, you'll see the gap close. Like the yields will get more hawkish, and the gap will close between the Fed and the bond market. Or if the economy is weak, like the bond market is saying when it's selling off for other reasons, because I don't want to get tangential, the Fed will cut more, and that will in turn make money cheaper. The chances of overshooting will be greater, and yields will roll over. So because a lot of it's noisy and it's difficult to over intellectualize it, I like to just do TA on the yields because you're just watching the bonds. So right now, I think what is happening is what I just described. The Fed cut last month, okay? 10-year went all the way down to 3.6, okay? This is what a lot of people on Twitter don't get. So if you're on Twitter and you're talking about this, that the rate cut raised mortgages, you have to pay attention to the relationship between bond yields and the Fed funds themselves. So if Fed funds is at 4.75, they cut from 5.25, and the 10 years at 3.6, or more importantly, the 2-year goes all the way down to 3.49, and the Fed and the market is starting to believe that the Fed won't cut as much, yields have to back up because the gap between Fed funds and where future Fed funds will be and the 2-year is wrong, so yields will back up. So all you're seeing is just a retracement of the overshoot of bond yields, because before the Fed cut, yields were absolutely cliffing. Everything was nuking, and not all of crypto was rallying. Maybe it was keeping Bitcoin up, you could say, because of how how much of like a liquidity sponge it is, and it relies on kind of this constant churn. But I think as you see yields rise and you see kind of like more headwinds on risk, it's because the gap between the Fed and the bond market is closing. So the future projection for the top-down view for all the money in the system is essentially like, where the hell are yields going to go? So you could have a scenario where the Fed doesn't actually cut that much, where Fed funds stays at and yields stay at 3.75 or whatever, because if we're at 4.75, so the Fed does 50 more, so it's 2.25s, that brings us down to 4.25. And then the Fed does 50 more, that brings us down to 3.75 Fed funds. Maybe the 10-year settles right here, And so is the crypto market going crazy with the 10-year at 4%? Not really, because that means the risk-free rate or the low risk rate is elevated. So it also makes crypto like less attractive. Like there's a lot of levers and stuff that go on. But essentially, I'm looking at crypto through like a long M2, short M2 lens. And monetary policy is driven by like, the debt markets, basically the 2-year and the 10-year bond.
So if Bitcoin is going to rally, if it's going to go into the hundreds of thousands, my theory is this: interest rates need to be a lot lower because, like,
not tons lower, but lower for sure.
Lower because what MicroStrategies is doing is getting these loans for like nothing, like 1%.
Debt is cheaper. Exactly, debt will be even cheaper.
Dollars
will be worth even less.
Go
it makes
and they
even
can
more
plow
sense
this.
selling Bitcoin.
So is it like they just go, these big institutions plow this money into Bitcoin? Is that the play? They'll just plow it all into crypto.
A lot of Bitcoin. Think about it. I mean, anybody that taps into like a perp or does any sort of futures trading or anything is using Bitcoin on leverage. Like, what is leverage? It's debt. It's margin. That costs money. That money is basically based on Fed funds and bond yields. So if those margin rates come down, if cost to borrow comes down, everything comes down, then it becomes more attractive to own riskier shit because it's less expensive. You can earn a wider spread.
Meme coins are going to absolutely go.
Yes, exactly. That's when you see the trickle down the cap spectrum. So you see money rotate out, Bitcoin, Ether. Like that's why I do the total versus total 3.
Make sure you guys follow Trader A in his Discord. He has a
page. Yeah. If you guys want to come through in the Discord, I'll show you how.
The link is down here. You guys can click and go to his Discord.
Yeah, do analysis. It's really cheap. It's only $15 a month right now. But I'm gonna raise it as
you gotta raise it, man.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna do that. But yeah, so yeah, thank you, bro. I appreciate that. So yeah, like total versus total 3 right now. So you got the altcoin market cap and the crypto market cap. So when you see monetary policy loosen up and it's genuinely risk on, this will greatly outperform. And you can get small periods of outperformance during times where the market thinks that a scenario like that is going to happen, because markets are forward looking, they're very anticipatory. So you have to like kind of like be alert, and kind of like get in if you want to get the bottom or you want to be ahead of it. And then the people who are selling or capitulating at the bottom are just super behind the story. Like they got in when everyone was like, all right, this is overheated. And then now they want to sell when everyone's like, okay, starting to look at it again. That's why the meme of like, it's like coins I sell, coins I hold, coins I buy, all that stuff. It's just the opposite. But it's because people are just behind the story, and a simple way to look at it is just buy cheap.
What are you doing right now?
As far as crypto
and stock market?
Yeah, so stock market, I think tech is coming alive again.
Okay.
So I think QQQ is going to lead us to close the year in Q4. I think on the index level, you'll see some lag, but I think that in the single stock level, AI level, like if you rotate out of Mag 7, I think NVIDIA will still do well. And like maybe Amazon, but a lot of other Mag 7 and like the reason why the index is going to underperform or lag is because they are fully valued and they're very big. So even if they just do nothing, the index will be very heavy. So I think it's going to be a great time to be a stock picker and to get really granular, to find selective things that you like. I think a lot of single stocks will do well in many sectors. I think AI will lead.
Are you going to pick any stocks in your group? Are you going to give any tips?
Oh yeah. I usually share picks and I do upgrades, downgrades, earnings reports, all that. In the Discord, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, no.
Okay.
So I think getting super granular is important.
Anything you're hot on right now in the stock market at all?
My best trade right now has been refiners. I grabbed the bottom of refiners. Yeah, like gas makers. Yeah, I love energy. I'm a big energy trader. I've been telling people get long XLE in the Discord. You can even do it for the long term. There's certain refiners that I like. Join the Discord and I'll tell you like which exact tickers. But why refiners? Well, 2 reasons. I like obviously just power demand, right? So you have crude oil. You want power from crude oil. You don't just like throw crude oil in like a furnace. You have to like refine it into fuel. So power demand is really good. Plus anything that has to do with petrochemicals. So like rubbers, nylons, plastics, those come from refineries. So like circuit boards, 70% of circuit boards are like petrochemicals. So yeah, I like petrochemicals. A lot of these oil companies are integrated too. It's like midstream stuff as well. So midstream, downstream is the refining aspect. And then petrochemicals, marketing, specialties, whatever.
But oil prices
Yeah, so
Or,
midstream
or
is good
low,
for this.
or low
Downstream is
right
good.
now.
Yeah, well, relatively
Ish,
low. So
ish.
here, so they're up off the lows.
So
I
you're
mean,
hoping that now,
nobody is in where I'm in because I have lines that show me like, okay, like, snag that. So I'm in it. Oh, it was confluence with this one as well. So I'm in at the low. Obviously, there's some resistance here. If you look at it on the weekly, you look at crude, right? Crude
and
is inflationary.
you buy crude with what, futures or with
You can do the
XLE?
futures. You can't do CFDs if you're in America. You can do XLE, which is like the super normie standard rate. You can do UCO or USO,
Okay.
which are ETFs. Pretty much you can do any upstream company. So some alpha is like, you can buy Exxon or whatever, like they respond really well to crude, or there's even better ones that respond even better to crude. Those are upstream companies. So yeah, I love the energy space. Super big in energy. What I've noticed, bro, is Wall Street's very bad at trading energy. It's like you're either good at it or you suck at it. Like it's a very counter trend. Like when all the downgrades are coming out, like that's the bottom. When all the upgrades are coming in, like that's the top. It's different than like tech and something like usually Wall Street's pretty on point with other sectors, but people are just bad at trading energy because it's just a trade, right? You always have to think it's a trade and it's never going to run away from you. Like oil's not going to go. If oil goes to like fucking 300 or whatever and it runs away without you, like, the government's going to step in and drill more oil, or they're going to use
It's never going to
alternative.
go.
No, it's a
I
commodity.
think this 125 is
Look at it.
probably the outer limits of it, realistically.
What I like about not necessarily the price of a barrel of friggin' crude oil, but energy companies. So if you just look at like the Spider Energy ETF, if you look at like, all right, here's some alpha basically. If you look at .com, okay, .com, you had this huge internet build out, this energy infrastructure build out. Like you needed to power all like the modems and the DSLs and the towers and the freaking cables and the materials to make the crap and all the stuff, right? So, and then all the commerce that takes place on the internet, whatever. So during the .com bubble and leading up to it, energy just kind of like sags along, kind of like how it is now. Then you had the big bust. I'm not saying we're going to have a big bust, but if you look at this period going forward, if you compare this chart from .com to the actual S&P, it's just like you get the craziest outperformance from energy. So energy went on this crazy infrastructure bull run, 280% over just 5 years. Okay, and these companies have huge cash flows. They're paying you monster dividends as well while you're holding this. Whereas if you look at the SPY, and this is sort of why this happened as well, but the SPY just has like a lost decade, basically. Like you have the .com bust, you get up to OA, you cannot flip this high, and then down you go. And it takes you basically until 2013, 2014, which is conveniently the top of energy. So you can just go, hey, normal equities are back.
Are we worried the SPY is reaching maybe another lost decade? I mean, it can't just.
The amount of times that I read that once a day on Twitter from someone new, like it's 2007, like I read that so much. There's so many reasons to not think it's 2000. First of all, fundamentally, okay, in 08, in 01, in all these periods, these companies were like insanely overvalued. They were like, there was way less sort of oversight. They had way less earnings. Like the average .com company was like 70 times or 80 times. And like Cisco was like 700 times earnings. Like not even NVIDIA has gotten that high. Like NVIDIA, that's 10x and da. The difference is today, the biggest companies, first of all, the market is way more advanced, way more kind of on rails, way more sort of organized. But you have companies that are leading the market that are gigantic, like Apple, Microsoft, like worldwide companies, Google, Meta, that have hundreds of billions of dollars on the balance sheet that are trading at like 28 times forward, So it's like you don't have this crazy bubble level speculation going on. A lot of the market is very quality focused and large cap focused. If you're just buying trash, it's actually hard to make money. Like you need to be in the index. You need to be up in quality. Like everyone on Wall Street is saying that, like, because that's what's working. So if you have .com, if you have 2021, if you have crazy speculation, you have trash flying and staying up. You have crazy IPOs. The IPO market is dead. You know, even people are like just now starting to wake up to the idea like, maybe I should buy some Goldman because maybe there'll be some IPOs, you know? So there's like the whole capital market cycle. So I don't know. I mean, there's so many things going on, but if you look at the stock market's history, there have always been reasons to sell always. And like, look at where it's got you. I think if you're a good investor, you focus on the information that makes you a profit and you don't focus on the information that reinforces your fears.
Interesting. Thank you for that. It's very wise.
So yeah, you know, I think we just had a bear market and we're going to fucking rip. End of story. Bid the market, you know, and then if earnings collapse, if the job market starts rugging, if, you know, SPY's down 10%, 20%, the rallies are being sold, you know, the Fed is like behind, like the Fed is blasting 75s, you know, obviously fucking sell it. And then if you're smart, you need to know when to get back in. But over the last long period of time, if you go all the way back, even if you do one like human lifetime, yes, you know, are there times where you get crapped out if you're in the index? Sure. In general, trend is higher. And also you can rotate. You don't have to be a monkey, right? So if you see, gee, S&P is dumping, but every day they tell you energy is going up, energy all-time high. Like, buy this ETF, right? It's managed for you. So it's like, simply rotate, right? Simply rotate. It's way smarter than being, the S&P is going down and we're screwed. Like Jim Cramer says, to quote Jim Cramer ironically, there's always a bull market somewhere, bro, which is true, bro. He's not lying.
So that's actually really interesting when you say that. There's always a bull market.
That's him. It's always a bull market somewhere.
But in crypto, when the market's
in crypto, no, because
it's just a fucking disaster.
Crypto is too nascent of a fucking technology, if you want to call it that. Like, because look, we're looking at $2 trillion, okay? The entirety of crypto is not even as much as Apple.
No, it's too small.
You know, it's too tiny. Saudi Aramco, which is the world's gas station, is double the size of the total three, which is every crypto without Bitcoin and Ether. So it's like, you know, so it's just too tiny. If crypto was a $10 trillion spool, like for example, S&P $50 trillion market cap, right? You can pick your spots in even, and that's only 500 companies. So, and you can go to the world market cap or total US, or it's called the Wilshire 5000. Not a lot of people know that. The Wilshire 5000 is the total US stock market. So whatever the hell the market cap is of that, you can get granular within that because it's big enough. It's a big enough playground. Even if you have small capital, because you can buy a $9 billion any company, you know, that's growing earnings at a decent clip, and you can opt from the index. You can grow at a 30-40% CAGR in those companies.
Well, most of the time, I mean, some people have had.
I mean, if you know how to stock pick, right? If you're not like random people can't do that, but if you're like actually in the markets, you know. Well, yeah, well, I'm just saying, yeah, like you can get granular.
That's why I'm gonna follow you, and I need you to open up a fund so I can just give you money, and then you.
Yeah, I gotta get my Series 7 first, and I gotta do all that. Do the
go get your Series. Go get all your Series 7 because I'm gonna give this man some seed capital. He can just trade for us.
Yeah, no, hell yeah, we're gonna make it, no doubt. No, yeah, so it's good. I've been doing it for a while, and I like it, you know, and I study it all day. So,
what's your average return per year? What do you see?
I'm building a track record right now because I'm actually relatively new. So I've been like pro investing, I would say, for probably the last 3 years, but those returns are distorted by Tomb Forks.
Well, you can't include crypto. What are you doing in the stock market?
No, in the stock market right now, I'm 52% year to date. S&P's 23 or whatever. Yeah. So the market is ripping, right? It's not like it's hard to be up that, but you know, I do a lot of spot. I do some day trading, which distorts it higher because I use leverage, and then I do some option spreads, which distort it also. But in general, the active book is just single stock names that I pick. I like to get my hands dirty on like 5 or 6 sectors. I will call out the trades usually if I think it's a really good one and it's low risk, high reward. I'll put them in the Discord. Like I was telling people, get long XLE at 85. So I said, you know, you flip this level, it's long.
Wow.
I was telling people
92, 93, right?
Pick this level over here. You know, and there's many other trades I flagged for people. I told people Home Depot, which I want to update, like all the way back
Why do you
here.
like Home Depot?
We were at
What's going on?
360. It was just a rate cut play. It's like normally like a stalwart. And
Oh,
this is just the beginning of the move, really. Because if you really look at Home Depot, I mean, it's so rare that you actually get a crack at this fucking name. You know, I mean, this is
just
all the way
going up.
back. It did crap out for the 2008, but I mean, it's just been a monster. You know, and they've restructured the business. It's like, you know, they do a lot of enterprise stuff since back then.
Wow.
So it's a rate play. It's a rate play, right? If the cost
What's
of
the
home,
market cap now of Home Depot?
400 billion.
Jesus
So yeah, I
Christ.
like it. I still think it's early. I think it'll definitely blast this high.
What about all the people that love Tesla? What is Tesla any hope
Oh
for
my
these
lord.
people?
So I actually trade Tesla every day. That's where I do
Okay.
my day trading.
Okay.
Okay. If you've been in Tesla, like you bought Tesla in 2019, your fucking 5-year returns or what
You're great.
You
still
don't
better
really
off.
you don't really care because you've 16x, you know?
Yeah.
Like you don't really care if you're up 1,000%, 700%. Like, do you really give a shit? Like, if you believe in Elon, you believe in EVs, you believe in robotics, you believe in Tesla Energy, you believe in all this fucking shit, then you don't care. But if you're trying to buy it, if you're like a COVID investor or anybody that came past 2020 and you're trying to buy this thing, it's stupid, right? It's just been dead money. You've been whipsawed around. It is the noisiest stock market. That's why I like trading it, because nobody knows what the hell it's worth. Is it a car company? Is it a tech company? Should be at 10 times forward. Should be at 50 times forward. You know, should be at 70. Like, is Elon a genius? Is Elon going crazy? Is Elon too busy? Like, there's so much like, who cares, right? So I mean, I think it makes for great trading, great swing trading, great day. It's incredibly volatile. You need to know what instruments you're using. I just use leverage spot. Leverage shares, it's like 230 a share or whatever. I think can move 10, 15 points in one day. And it's a noob crusher. It moves in a straight line. Most people don't know how to trade trends. So it just goes and goes and goes and goes and goes and goes.
You mean if it moves in one direction, it just keeps going?
When it starts moving, it really moves. You know, you can see it.
Why is that? That's very bizarre.
It's because it's a noob cruncher, because if you're new to trading, this is like more alpha. If you're new to trading, you Google how to trade or whatever. MACD, RSI, stochastic, oscillators, Keltner channels, Bollinger Bands, oscillators. Yeah. What do oscillators tell you when something is, if you're looking at it naked? It's when something's really high, it's overbought, so you need to sell it. Or when something's really cheap, it's oversold, so you need to buy it. So what a noob crusher, grinder, rinser, whatever you want to call them, they get up into the RSI where you think 60 is oversold, and then it goes 65, and then it goes 70, and then it goes 75, and they go to 80 and 90. You know, it just keeps going. And what is a noob doing? He's adding to his short, or he's getting short. Like that's what they do, and it's like embedded in human psychology. So especially with Tesla, because it's also like a retail magnet, like a rookie magnet. I feel like it's almost everybody's first stock that they go to because it moves so much.
So
people don't know how to trade trends. So I just hose noobs on it because I've been trading for years.
So you
I've been
are
trading
taking
the whole range.
you are taking advantage of the retail money, the dumb money.
Just people who don't know how to trade a trend, and then I trade the open, so it's whoever the hell just buys an open.
So you're going long and short on leverage.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And when you say on leverage, how do you leverage a stock?
It's like so you have a margin account on like a brokerage, and brokerage
so you're
4 to 6x leverage. Just intraday, it'll be free. So I'll have cash in T-bills, and then my balance will go like negative, but I'll be in a position, and then I just have that money to pay for a loss if I fuck up.
Okay, so you go heavy. So like, let's say you have 100.
Oh yeah, I mean, if you're trading spot, $400 is like $2 move is at $2, right? So you need to make real money. You need to trade with like hundreds of thousands of shares.
Got you. So you're taking some big risks here with but it's not really going to.
I have a 1 point stop. Well, I mean, here if we just go to
it's not going to move that much, so it doesn't matter.
Well, here's the thing, right? Like if I'm here was big because you had the robo-taxi day, so the range was big, so the trade was pretty clean. But if you're here and you think, all right, rolling over, sell the news, whatever bullshit, and you just get short.
Wow,
like here, 240 stops at 241, so it just rolls to 257. Maybe you get short right at 240, or you even chase it at 239.90.
Wow,
it rolls back. It doesn't even roll $1 against you, and then it dumps 7 points in like 10 minutes, right? So if you're trading 1,000 shares, you risk 1,000, you make 7,000. I'm not saying do this. Do not do this. Actually, do not do this. I'm just giving you an example.
Yeah.
Extremely risky. Making a lot of money.
You guys need a little bit more. Yeah.
If you're long and you keep longing this, you will literally lose your account. And if you have a call option, gone, vanished. Like your premiums vanished. Like this is minus 40% before you can even blink.
This is tough.
So do not do this. I'm just explaining
Well, thanks for coming on, man. I think it really helped a lot of people with ICP. We brought some reality in ICP. We brought some reality into the meme coin craze. I think meme coins, guys, I'm going to be doing a whole thing on meme coins. You guys, if you're not in meme coins, you're missing out. We're going to put together a list of probably 5 of the top 10 of the top meme coins that we're moving in. I'm probably going to do either a live show, another show. So make sure to subscribe because
we gotta do another episode of Standard and Rich.
We do. Maybe we'll just do it on meme coins because
yeah. Have a subject. We'll do like TA on 2 or 3.
Because meme coins, guys, I'm going to give you guys an overview. It is only worth they're saying about $40 billion. And this guy Murad is saying it's going to go to $1 trillion. And I do believe that meme coins, and he's saying that meme
maybe
coins
total 3 will go to $1 trillion. Just
maybe
total 3 could go to $1 trillion. Yeah,
total 3 can go to $1 trillion, but so can meme coins alone. Because what meme coins
take a while. Yeah,
it's better than gambling. It's better than investing in a single stock. It's better than investing
like potential returns are better. You could say
way better.
But the risk is paired. I would say the risk is adjusted.
I think meme coins. If you know what you're doing. I'm going to show you guys like how we're finding them. I'm going to show you guys. You got to be careful not to get rugged. You can't just find something on deck screen.
No, you have to be smart. Like, please be responsible. Don't over lever. Don't think you're going to be rich and like fucking dive in. Like, please.
And I only put in like 2 or 3 grand. I don't go crazy. You got people investing like 20 grand, 30 grand in meme coin.
I'm throwing in like a percent of the portfolio. You know what I'm saying? Like at a time, like you have a max 5 to 10, depending on what your risk tolerance is, and don't blow out. Like always live to fight another day. Because let's say you lose on a bunch of meme coins, maybe you lose 7 times, and then next time you 7x, bam, or whatever, depending on how you structure your risk.
Like there's guys in my Discord, like Owen, we're going to bring him on. He's hit 1,000x meme coins. 1,000x. There's nothing like this. You can't get 1,000x.
What's cool about this is if you don't have money to like really invest or buy stocks, like this is the better way to like hit it big. And you just have to be okay with letting it go to 0, or letting it go deep down,
deep down, 99%,
like really deep, because sometimes they'll come from the grave, like we saw with that other one.
Yeah, so you got to know the teams. We're going to explain all this. I'm going to try to help you guys out because there's a lot of too many people that are losing money out here, and Trader A is sick of it. I'm sick of it. There's a lot of bad information out here. We want to give you the right information so you guys can make better choices when you're getting into meme coins, and don't go into the scams and the rugs. We're going to show you how to try to figure out and identify all this stuff. So I'm working on it. It's going to be a banger of an episode. And then we'll bring on some other meme experts, and we're going to talk about the meme coins that we think are going to do numbers. And this is the beginnings of the meme show. Cycle. Make sure to go to his Discord and my Discord. We're going to be talking a lot about memes. Memes are the new layer ones. Or altcoins. They're the new altcoins.
Yeah. I feel like they're honestly getting all the flows. You see in crypto, like all the big flows. So
all the money, like all the crypto was down today, and I didn't even notice it because all my meme coins were doing okay.
Because you're up, you're in the right. See, you kind of can pick your spots in crypto if the conditions are okay.
Sometimes
you kind of can. Yeah, you got to be good. You got to be Dow King. So he's over here.
Dude, I need more exposure to meme coins. I mean, I'd like to ultimately have at least close to 6 figures in meme coins is my goal. I just haven't found enough.
Yeah, I mean, shit. That's a roller coaster.
Yeah, like I want close to that amount.
Have a stomach for that.
Yeah. Because if you're in that 6-figure range and you're spread across like 10 good meme coins, I know one of them is going to do 100x.
Yeah, I mean, if you know how to capture 1,000% upside, snapping at the profit or getting nervous, then just let it fly. Then you could hit a banger, but they reverse quick. They can reverse while you're asleep too, because they're the close.
Yeah. Like so I know if I'm in the right position, I'm in like 10 or 20 good meme coins. I know one of those is going to take my $4,000, it's going to make it into like $400,000, $500,000. I'm going to exit that, and I'm going to find more ones.
Yeah, if you pick the right one, yeah.
So
you gotta
we've been
needle
okay.
in a haystack.
We've got okay, and I got some more sources that I'm working with. A lot of YouTubers they got a lot of information from different groups. Hey, these guys are good. These guys not going to rug and blah blah blah. So it's good to be connected. It's good to be a YouTuber, because what I can do is I can say, hey, who's behind this? Are they going to rug? How are they going to market? So I get this information. Okay, this is how they're going to market. It's already live. They didn't take any shares. This is what they're doing. So we get information is king, just like in the stock market.
True. In any
king.
buying and selling anything, if you're buying, selling tulips, whatever, you got to know something that people don't.
It is. Well, anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. I see there's 57 of you guys. Awesome. I mean, this
cool, man. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for having me.
We'll see you guys hopefully next week. Take care.
Take care.